Hi, everybody. Welcome, everyone, to our Venus Original Monthly Series, Scene and Story. For those of you who don't know, Venus is a community app and platform by and for LBQ plus women, trans, non-binary, sapphic, inclusive, and we hope you'll join us here at Meet on Venus at meetonvenusblog.com to sign up. Our host tonight is Jane Clark, a multi-award-winning director, writer, editor, and producer. She directed the wildly popular Crazy Bitches franchise and the digital series spin-off Crazy Bitches Digital. And through her company, Film McQueen, she's brought numerous shorts and 3 feature films to life, including her latest supernatural rom-com, Witchy Ways, that released in November. It's her 4th feature as a producer and 3rd as a writer-director. Tonight, Jane is joined by Christin Baker, an award-winning director, Emmy-nominated producer, and CEO of Tello Films, the first and longest-running streaming platform dedicated to lesbian and queer women. A passionate storyteller and advocate for authentic queer representation, Christin has built a career creating heartfelt, character-driven films and series that celebrate love, identity, and community. Her work has been featured in major festivals and recognized for its impact on LGBTQ, I should know those letters by heart in a row, plus visibility in media. Beyond filmmaking, Christin co-hosts the travel and lifestyle series Let's Go with her partner Stacey Powell, and it's made 4 lesbian queer holiday rom-coms, including the soon-to-be-released The Christmas Writer. So now I will let Jane and Christin take it away and have such an amazing conversation. Take it away, guys.
All right. Well, thanks for that introductions. And hi, Christin. Welcome to Scene and Story.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, it's so much fun because at least initially I'm getting to talk to people I actually really know. We've known each other a pretty long time now. And I think it's like 2014. I had somebody somehow had hooked me up with you, and we had coffee and talk about. I think I was trying to get money out of you for Crazy
probably.
And you told me at the time, you're like, oh, you hadn't read it, so you were like, I don't, we don't do that type of film because we don't do anything that we have a no dead lesbian rule, which I thought, oh, that's so interesting. And yay, I didn't have a dead lesbian in my horror comedy, but I thought, you look at that, like you drew lines in the sand. I mean, I think one of the things I admired about you early on was that you decided what you were going to do with Tello when you got it going, and you drew real clear lines about what was acceptable and what was not. Like you were almost, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like you were out to kind of demolish the traditional role of LGBTQ people in film, and that you were going to use this platform to do it. But tell me a little bit more about where that started, and then how has that evolved over time, if it has?
Yeah, no, you're right. We definitely had some rules because prior to Tello, a lot of times in lesbian stories, the lesbian died in the end, especially if it was like a coming out story where someone was in love with someone. And then we also had it to where if there was a threesome where like there was a woman, and a man, that we would not accept a movie if the man and the woman ended up together. And then the third woman or the female pair was discarded. So it's not that we would absolutely accept bisexual material, but we just again found that a lot of filmmakers, a lot of male filmmakers were trying to make it a little salacious where they would introduce a woman, but then of course the woman couldn't end up with her at the end. So those were 2 rules that we had early on. And to be honest, it hasn't really changed yet. If we did receive a horror submission recently where the lesbian died in the end, and I really talked about it with my director of acquisitions, because I was like, well, it's the horror genre, which a lot of people die in the horror genre, but I'm just not quite ready to break with that rule yet, because I think it was 2016, a ton of television characters that were lesbian were killed, and that's when Representation Matters started up. And so yeah, I still kind of hold on to those two rules from the beginning.
Do you think is that because the industry hasn't evolved? Like, are you still finding it to be a problem in the content that's out there, or is it just, just a level of respect for where you began or what you think you want to just continue in the tradition of? I mean, how has the industry changed at all in your viewpoint?
Yeah, I mean, in 18 years, I think it would be foolish to say the industry hasn't changed. I do think that there's a lot more acceptance. When I was first coming out was the Ellen episode. And I mean, people lost their minds when Ellen came out. And you don't have that same reaction these days. You don't have advertisers pulling, well, I mean, I'm sure you do in some instances, like with the Hallmark Channel and stuff. But for the most part, you don't have that kind of negative reaction happening these days. So I think things have changed. I still think our stories are either secondary stories or they're for to kind of be a little titillating. And I think like the hunting wives on Netflix, it has straight and it has lesbian romance, but there's a part of me that wonders, like, is that more to titillate than it really is that these two characters are destined to end up together? I don't know. I did watch it, of course, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, who knows? If it's changing hearts and minds to some degree, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter what the impetus is to, put them together. Because I've been seeing stuff on TikTok with a lot of straight women go with the hashtag, "Are we still straight? Does this mean we're not straight anymore?" Stuff like that, which I think is funny. But
yeah,
it goes also to that sort of idea of like, well, the feel good film and the idea that still LGBTQ characters tend to be secondary characters, or even third tier characters in a lot of ways, but they're there for color, but they're not they're not integral to the storyline. And if they are, then it's it's a coming out storyline, or it's something that's very, very specific to the queer community. And, one of the things that you do, from my observation, is that you actually just make films about people. They happen to be lesbian characters, but the story is a story you could see anybody in, which I believe in. I mean, that's something I've sort of strived to do over the years, but talk a little bit about that concept of like the need to sort of, go.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just part of the evolution, though, of our community storytelling, right? Like, if you think about what were the things that we were really dealing with when those coming out movies were made, it was coming out. It was a huge deal back then. It was big to not be in the closet, right? And so, of course, in the evolution of storytelling, you're going to start off with coming out stories. And then as we evolve and coming out becomes less of the piece of the storytelling that's important, and it becomes more of like, okay, we've come out, now we have to fall in love. Now maybe we're going to have children. Now we have to figure out how to navigate our workplace, as a lesbian. And is that different? So I really do think that it's just part of the evolution of storytelling. I think it was important to have coming out stories. I think they're still important, but I do think that the community is looking for a little bit more now. And so you're right. I don't know that I've necessarily made, I'm really trying to think of my my filmography. I don't think I've made a coming out story in the 18 years that I've been doing Tello. It was usually love. It was usually a breakup, or finding love, or finding your place in the workplace, or I find fish out of water storytelling really interesting. And then you layer on that it's a lesbian. And so I think it's just part of the evolution of who we are as storytellers.
I think that's true. I mean, particularly for you, I don't know everybody's taken that ride yet, because it still feels sometimes like, you know, there's a slot that gets filled, but really when you're trying to go out and get financed for a film where it's just a film, but they happen to be lesbian or they happen to be gay, and that's not part of the story really, in terms of, oh, we're trying to tell a gay story, we're just telling a story. I find that it's still really hard to get people to go, oh, we see value here, we understand there's a market for it. And so it's not really even whether the artist wants it or the audience wants it. It's like the disconnect between, the buyer who's in charge of getting this over to over here, this here to this over here. And I don't know, you don't have that same sort of constraint, just because you have Tello, which is amazing and such a gift. I was really glad to be able to see The Christmas Writer. It is so cute. It is so cute. It's such a sweet, lovely story.
Thank you.
It really is. Well, and you've sort of gotten known for that over time. And I had this interesting. I did an interview earlier today with a woman who, it was a sci-fi magazine, and she was like, I don't normally like rom-coms. And I was like, oh, okay, good. I'm glad we're talking then. And because which ways is a rom-com? And I said, well, why is that? Like, have you never liked rom-coms, or just it's too light for you? I don't know. She said, no, I used to love them back in the 90s. I loved them, 90s, early 2000s. And then as time went by, they started to seem to get derivative, or they got mean-spirited to some degree, or they just changed for her, so that when she would go, oh, I'm going to watch, it's a rom-com, and she'd tune in, it wasn't the same as what she was used to watching. And I thought that was kind of interesting, because I do feel like this a little bit of the same way. I watch everything that they tell me is a rom-com when it comes out. And sometimes it's a rom-com, but just not very good. But sometimes it's also not a rom-com, and you make these beautiful Christmas rom-coms. I just wonder, like, does the audience understand that they're really truly getting a rom-com, when half the time something comes out and they label it a rom-com, and it's like some like happiest season, it just turns into some sort of sad family drama thing, and all of a sudden that idea of rom-com is diluted. I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you think
I think that, I think you're totally right. I think that a lot of people don't really understand the nuances of a rom-com genre, right? And I wonder if the rom-coms of the 90s, they really did and Hallmark does the same thing. They follow a formula. And there is a reason that people love that formula, because what it causes you to do is you have to get clever and creative with the writing, with the moments, with the pieces. Like, what's going to happen in the romantic comedy. And for some people, that's very satisfying. They're like, oh, when the boy loses the girl or girl loses the girl in the end, I know they're going to get back together, but I don't know how they're going to do it. And the excitement is in how they're going to do it. And I think because some people, as we've moved along in storytelling, they've tried to really buck the establishment of what the holiday rom-com is, or what the rom-com is. And it's just, they don't understand that it is incredibly formulaic. And you can't just call something a romantic comedy because someone's in love or someone's married in there. It really does need to follow the meet cute, and then the falling deeper, and then the moment where they're together and it's great, and then that falls apart, and then somehow they get back together and they're together in the end. And when you don't follow that formula, it is technically not a romantic comedy. And so a lot of times people will lump, especially lesbian things, and Happiest Season is such a great example. People tried to call that a rom-com. That is not a rom-com. Those two are together in the beginning, and they are together in the end, although some would argue that Aubrey Plaza should be with Kristen Stewart at the end, but that's a whole different conversation that we can spend a half an hour on. But that is a lesbian holiday comedy, dramedy, however you want to, because it doesn't follow. There's no meet cute. There's no, there's definitely a falling apart, but they knew each other. They were a couple in the beginning. That automatically takes it out of the rom-com genre. And
Yeah.
so I think people just conflate, especially lesbian, because we just think it's a lesbian movie. They end up in the end, that's a romantic comedy. And that is not the genre at all.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because I say to people, like, I'm not giving anything away to say they end up together at the end. Like, because
No,
that's what happens. And that's
no,
okay because it's about the
that's what it
journey. It's
is.
how they get there. It's that. And I had to do a lot of research because I thought I could just start writing. And then I realized, no, I mean, there's rules. There's rules. I need to know what
Yeah.
those rules are. I mean, if you break them a little
You got
bit,
to
you
know
better
the
know why
rules.
you're breaking them, and you better, break them smartly.
Yeah.
But it was definitely an investigation on my end to go, all right, like what makes a good, because I love rom-coms. I mean, I've watched, and I did like all the like Love Actually and Notting Hill and Jerry Maguire and like, all those early day rom-coms that were just so brilliantly written. It's just really, but they hit all the marks all the way
So
along.
good.
And you never have to
Yes.
worry.
Yes.
Yeah. You know that they're going to land where they're supposed to land, but you're going to love getting there. You're going to love every step of it. And it doesn't matter that you recognize you hit that mark and you're moving into another thing.
Right. Exactly. No, you're exactly right. And yeah, there is a formula, and it happens in all the movies. And I just always kind of want to laugh when someone sees the trailer and says, well, I know what happens at the end. And I'm like, it's a rom-com, my friend. If they don't get together in the end, people are going to riot. Like, I'm going to have angry people.
Yeah. And by the way, if they don't get together in the end, it's not a rom-com.
Exactly. Exactly. Good
Yeah.
point.
It's just what you're giving. It's a little bit like, any kind of genre has rules. I mean, I don't know how you felt. Like, I noticed that you did this, what I was calling a horror movie, you're calling a thriller, but it's still in that sort of genre, horror thriller genre category. And there's rules to that too. And it's not a rom-com, so you can't go by those rules. It's another set of rules that community, the people that really love those kinds of movies, expect to see. And if you break those rules, you better know why you're breaking them, and you better be ready to hear it when you do, as there'll be people that don't like it. But I really did think it was interesting that you even ventured, because you have moved so clearly into this, Christmas rom-com, space, that I thought, wow, that's so interesting. Now she just went in and dipped her toe into a horror-esque type movie with my friend Mandala Rose, who I've also worked with. She's fabulous. What was that like, making that shift? Or was it nothing for you? I mean, like, was it just, oh yeah, make another movie and this is fun? Or did you have to kind of relearn your vocabulary a little bit? Uh-oh. Christin, you're frozen, I think. Oh.
I can hear you, but I can't.
Oh, there you go. You're back.
I went into the chat.
You're back.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So horror,
Right.
like, what was that experience? Or not thriller. What was that experience?
Here's the thing I think that I realized as I was making them. Thrillers and romantic comedies are actually more similar than you think, because is tension.
Yeah, tension. That's true.
They both rely on tension.
That is true.
And so I think the shift was easier than one would think, because I knew how to create tension.
Right. Was there anything about the process of making that movie that felt...
I can't hear you, Jane.
Yeah, the connection's not so great. Was there anything... Can you hear me
now? I don't
know
what's going on, but I can't hear you.
It should be fine. I haven't changed anything. Check your settings. Well, you can't hear me.
I can't.
Ooh, you keep free. Oh, well, here we are. Hopefully Christin will make it back. In the meantime, I'll just say that my experience with making horror movies. Oh, are you back? It's the screen's black, Christin. Can you hear me? Christin, can you hear me? Well, anyway, I found the experience different because of the elements that you put into a horror movie. You know, the kills and her movies are much less that way. I have blood all over mine, but just like trying to figure out how people die or what the special effects are going to be and how you do the special effects. Or are you back?
Okay.
Can you hear me? I
just want to let folks. I read the comments and I can see Jane's talking, but I don't know why I can't hear anymore.
Okay. Anyway, I'm just hoping she makes it back. But in the meantime, and talking about these differences, I do think that to some degree, when you get out into the world, there's these rules that people expect you to follow, and if you don't, there's some people get disappointed, which is what I think can happen with any genre. I'll also say, one of the things I think is kind of fun about the fact that Christin and I and so many other women that are making films in the queer space, we all sort of borrow actors. And I'm not saying it like that. That's probably not the right way to put it, but like I've worked with Mandala Rose. She's worked with Mandala Rose. I've worked with Candace Kane. She's worked with Candace Kane. I've worked with Miriam Hassler.
Is there a Wi-Fi
Miriam Hassler.
that I could hop on by any chance?
Are you doing part of the movie?
And
No, I'm on a.
Ask her.
Anyway,
I swear I remember like seeing something printed on the wall. Okay. Let me look. It might have been on.
Anyway, it's just an interesting thing where you end up finding yourself kind of cycling through the same actors because they've got fan bases that they're adored by certain people, and if you bring them on, their fan base is happy to have them. And I think that's an interesting part of our world that we live in, especially because we're not necessarily getting named people. We're going after regular. Not regular actors, because of course their name into our community, but they don't drive financing. And when you have a film that's at, well, Catherine knows, when you have a film that's at, $300,000, you can't afford a name person, but you want somebody who at least is appealing to the community, because most of the time that's where your films are going to live anyway. It's really hard to break a film into a more commercial space. And Catherine, are you on?
I am here, and we have Christin back. Okay.
All right. Yay. Just in time to close things up. No, I was just saying that I think it's really fun that we have worked with the same actors before. And I think a lot of people in our world do, like, we find the same actors that are popular in our community. Christin, can you not hear me? Oh, well. This is live. This is what happens when things are live. What happens?
Christin is at a screening right now, right?
Yeah.
One of her films.
Yeah,
so
she's at a screening
in a green room. Clearly, and we all know green rooms can not have great Wi-Fi.
Right? Have great Wi-Fi. I think, and it's a screening of that horror movie or the thriller I was asking her about, the double booking film, which looks really, really good. Christin, it looks really, really good. You can't hear me, but it does. But I like that genre, so I'm going to be partial to it. And Mandala Rose stars in that movie, which is why I brought her up, because I was watching the trailer earlier, and I'm like, oh, Mandala. I don't know, like, what is your experience with working with different actors in the community, Catherine?
Well, I did documentary for over 30 years. So actors
Oh,
were
I
not
thought
my,
you did
were not my
narrative. Okay.
no, not actors were not my thing. I did the real people. I did the real gays and lesbians, the trans queer people in any queer doc I did, and whether it was drug doc, it was real drug addicts. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I know a lot of actors, but I don't. But yes, that has its own challenges. Yeah, but
Yeah, I bet. We have to have you on the show. I'd love to hear more. I have to pick your brain anyway because I have been offered a documentary.
oh,
And I don't know. I mean, I only know what I think I would do, but I would love to talk to you about your experiences.
I would love to anytime. No, and I know that the challenges of the industry they go both ways. In terms of getting queer content, approved, passed, put on. I mean, I'm sorry that we lost Christin for right now, because I think that a place like Tello Films, like having a place where you can't. It's like, and to build its own universe to host these kind of films.
It's
Which
really
is
amazing. I mean, that makes her unique because it's not just that she has the creative head and she's made these, narrative films and these web series, but she has a business head, and she put together something back in the day when nobody was really even envisioning it. And it not only lasted, but it has grown and endured, and become stronger over the years. But that Tello gives a space to a lot of lesbian filmmakers who do not have another avenue to go down. I mean, things have changed a little bit now with Tubi's pretty, taking everything, and there's plenty of places, I guess, that will open up, but that's still that sale, that idea of like really being able to make your money back and, have some value there. Tello for a long time was the only place you could go that was really returning an investment,
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like it's an expensive thing that you guys do. Docs can be expensive, but we can also, I guess we're like the poor stepchild where we have to do things so on the cheap. What was I going to say? But it's an expense. I think you talked about this last time, and to be supported as a lesbian, bisexual, queer woman filmmaker, and to tell those stories and have a place, where people will come and they will rent them and they know where to go, and you actually may be able to support yourself, to create a business model like that. It's just, I mean, that's sort of, part of what we're doing at Venus is that we it's like how to create spaces to support each other, because the greater world is not always going to do it. And I'm sure that translates exactly to the film world too, right? It's
for sure. I mean, you're just going to have to go out and do it for yourself. But I think, like, I don't know another app out there that's like Venus. Am I wrong? I mean, I haven't dug deep, but it seems like a very unique platform.
Yeah, we are certainly trying to make it. It's a community app, and we're lifting women up in all ways. So I'm hoping that Christin does she have a voice? Christin, can you hear us?
I can.
Can you hear us?
Oh,
yay!
Bravo!
Success!
You had to leave and then come back in, I guess. I don't know.
We were singing your praises, Christin.
Yes, good. Maybe it's good that I left.
Yeah,
no, we were actually singing praises. You would have enjoyed it. It's always nice to hear compliments. That wasn't a euphemism for bad talk. Yeah.
Yeah. Take it away. Oh dear. Oh dear. That was really a short-lived love affair with Christin.
Oh well. We'll just have to hold on at some point. Yeah.
I'm good. I'm back in.
We can't see
we can't see you, but we can hear you. That's okay.
Okay.
Catherine, do you want to go a little longer since we?
Yeah. Why don't you guys go for another 5 minutes? We'll go a little over.
Okay. All right. So I was curious what your casting process is, because for me, I cast a lot of friends. I write for friends. I don't know, if you do that as well. Do you hold castings? Like, I don't even do castings anymore. You know, if somebody isn't somebody I know, it means I'm having to cast a name. You know what I mean? So like, I'm just wondering what your process is when you find all these beautiful actors you work with.
Yeah, it's been different on each one. So I do still have done casting calls. I try to think about who, I mean, just like you, I try to think about who and have I worked with before that I love, because you can trust them. They're going to show up, they're going to be ready, they're going to give an amazing performance, they're going to be super great on set. So, one of my favorites is Dia Frampton, who I've worked with many times. She's just amazing. I've cast Laura Allen in 2 of my movies. Mandala's been in a couple. And so, I think it just depends on, I don't, yeah, it just depends for me. This last movie that I did, I cast 2 people that I knew, and then we did a casting call for everyone else. So, and I will tend to write for someone that I know, but or I'll go back in after I've cast, and then I'll actually make adjustments. Kind of knowing that person and character if I have time. So yeah, we'll do casting calls, but I used a casting director on my first 4 movies. Season of Love, I Hate New Year's, Christmas at the Ranch, and Mary and Gay. I had a casting director.
Well, now I don't know what is happening. We somehow
This
just
is
lost Jane.
crazy.
This is the craziest. This is the craziest live stream that had to have ever been.
That's keeping you on your toes, Catherine. This is why you make the big bucks, baby.
Yeah, totally. This is why I make the big bucks. Yep, so that I can manage all the crazy, like,
Yes.
It's like losing guests. Got them, can't hear them. Are they there?
No, then you lose your host.
We just lost the host. I don't even know. I mean, we have some, like, is it Mercury in retrograde? Like, what's happening?
I don't know. I mean, I am screening a thriller. Maybe this is.
I think that's the problem. I think that when we have your thriller thing. But I'm going to add Jane back to the stage. But don't forget to tell us all about your film and when it's coming out. When The Christmas Writer is, everybody can see it. Jane, we have you back. She has a thriller playing in the other room. We think the thriller.
Yeah, but let Christin wrap this up before something goes off again.
Yeah. So my movie, The Christmas
Christin,
Writer. Yeah, my movie, The Christmas Writer, which is super fun. It is a holiday romantic comedy for book nerds. You can find it on Tello Films. You can pre-order it right now. But November 18th, you will be able to rent or buy it on Tello and then a bunch of other streaming platforms like Apple, Amazon, Google Play. And then we are screening. So if anyone is in the LA area, we're screening at the NoHo Lemley December 11th. We're going to be up in Oakland on the 16th. That's in conjunction with Venus, which we are so super excited about to be collabing with you all.
And we are psyched too.
It's going to be a great event. And then we're heading over to DC on the 18th, Washington, DC. And then Atlanta on the 21st, and then Nashville December 1st. And we're almost sold out of Nashville. We have we're not almost sold out of LA, but we have a good number of tickets. And I don't know how we're doing in Oakland. I've heard good things, but I can't see the seats like you can these days. But yeah, please look for us. Please follow Tello Films on all the socials. We're on all the socially thingies that you can imagine, and we'll have more information. And we got our first good positive review today, so it's been a great day. And then I've gotten to talk with you exciting folks, so keep me on the toes.
Well, congratulations. Well, I'm gonna add. Okay, we got Jane again.
This is crazy. We
Jane.
promise we're gonna have this fixed before next time.
Yes, we absolutely. This is. I think that everybody's. I'm telling you, there's something with the fact that there's Kristen's Thrillers playing in the other
Yeah.
room.
That's
Right?
how powerful it is.
I'm
Let me
it's
just
how
also
powerful
just
that is.
say, let me just say before we lose it again that Kristen's movie, the Christmas writer, not the thriller, is going to be playing in Los Angeles on
Wait,
November 11th.
Jane, she just told us all
I
the
did
dates.
that.
She just did
Fantastic.
that.
Great. I just want to make sure that got out there.
You're so
And,
sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. And where do you pre-buy it?
Tello Films. You can pre-order.
Okay. I'll go tonight and pre-buy it.
It's
Thanks.
fantastic. Everybody
Yeah.
should go watch
Well,
it. And Jane, what do you have coming up? Everybody should go to Film McQueen, right? And check out your work. And
yeah, you know, I'm Phil McQueen on YouTube and Instagram, also Witchy Ways on Instagram, and director Jane Clark on Instagram. And there's also a Crazy Bitches TikTok and a Witchy Ways TikTok. So you can find me everywhere. But Witchy Ways is out right now on Apple and Amazon. And yeah, you know, we'll see where it
please,
goes.
everybody, go see Witchy Ways too. So we've got
Yeah.
2 filmmakers right now with
Yeah.
films. We've got a Christmas writer and Witchy Ways. This is
Yeah.
a remarkable. You don't get all these lesbian films flying out there that you can access.
And then let
Very
me
well.
also add, everybody should go to, is it welcometovenus.com, or do you have
That is correct.
welcometovenus.com?
Welcometovenus.com.
Download the app, check out what this is all about. It's a beautiful, beautiful community that they're building there, and it's important. So, and I think, are you still giving away free memberships right now?
We sure are. We sure
Yeah.
are. Get to
Yeah.
welcometovenus.com and sign up for free. And we have instituted an ID verification, and we've done that to protect our community from
Nice.
bots, right? We get, there's too many women out there that really have requested. It's like we need a safe space. So we
Yeah.
feel really, really, really dedicated at Venus to keep our members safe.
I think that's
So
amazing.
yes, you have to go through a little process of an ID verification, so we know you are who you say you are, and that we don't get too many any scammers and bots and some cuckoos come on in to harass us, as they like to do for some reason. You know, lesbian gays, woo! I want to come in.
Yeah.
So
trolls everywhere.
We take safety and very, very seriously at Venus. So,
Great.
so come on into our safe community. Welcome to Venus.com.
And tell everybody about the shows. Scene and Story is going to come back every first Thursday of the month at 5:30 live, and we're going to figure out what this all was about, and hopefully not have it happen again. But there's a lot of great women out there making queer content that maybe you know some of them, maybe you don't know some of them, but if you don't know them, you should. So there's an opportunity to be introduced once a month to somebody new that's making content for the community. So hope to see everybody next month.
Thank you, Jane, our phenomenal host. And yes, this did not happen on our first episode, so we're going to be all right. Kristin, that thriller. Stop the power of the scary.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
Yeah, you got a ghost in the machine. And thank you, Kristin, for joining me today. It was really fun talking to you.
It's so good to hang out again, Jane and Catherine. Thank you so much, and thanks for everyone's patience. This was a fun little pop-up situation.
Yeah, all good. Okay, bye everybody.
We know how to take care of it. Okay, everybody. Thanks for
Bye,
joining
y'all.
us.